Sequoia is kind of, I guess, the alter ego that I created kind of when I was like coming out of high school and, you know, was figuring out a name for what I wanted to do. At first, I started with fashion and then graduated into music. And then I figured like that's the first thing you need, right? Like a superhero first like needs his cape. So like that's
Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to our show. I'm your boy Drew. We are Option for a Podcast. I'm always joined by the second half of the show, GQ Nesto. How you doing today?
What it do? I'm good.
You feeling float? You floating right now?
I'm coasting.
You coasting?
Coasting.
Cali cool.
all the way.
All the way.
Gliding.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are in for a very, very special treat. Joining us in studio today is someone I believe we can all learn from, right? We all have individual paths to travel, but she has mentioned to me that there are no second chances because you only get one life, right? It's YOLO.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
YOLO.
Exactly.
Right? So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the amazing, the super talented Lexx Sequoia. How you doing today?
Hi. Thank you. That was a great intro. I was not expecting that. Thank you. You're so sweet.
Did a tear come out?
Yeah.
If a tear didn't come out,
one single tear.
You didn't want to mess up
Like
the makeup. You had to
crybaby.
pat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good. So how you feeling?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for having me too.
Yeah, for sure. How was traffic? Was it hard to get here?
No, actually, coming from the Inland Empire is not really.
What'd you think?
It's more fun for us. We like to
Yeah.
get out. We like to come to the city, pop out, and then go back to our little hideout.
So,
She was on that Dominic Toretto. Let me get out there. Let me real quick.
Yeah.
do you have you got a morning routine? Like, what's the first thing you did this morning? Besides-
So I do have
I
a
ain't
morning
gonna say
routine. Yeah.
All right.
Definitely it starts with coffee.
Coffee. How many ounces?
Just like a cup. Just a good cup.
Good cup. What's a good cup? I mean, 'cause some
32,
people like 32,
40.
16, 8. What we talking about? Keurig, Starbucks.
I don't know. You just put. I'm like new generation. Like you just pop it in, press the button, and like comes out.
All right.
It's the middle one.
The middle one.
The middle
It's probably
one.
six. It's probably
I think
six.
that's
No,
eight.
it's six.
No, that's it.
It's
Six is
4, then 6 and 8. Oh, I do know. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 6.
All right.
So
All right, cool.
So
It's six.
that, but yeah, coffee, meditation, dog out. We have a dog. We have a Pomeranian.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you listen to?
Yes, music. We put that on the TV. And it's like either usually house music or like hip hop.
House music in the
whatever.
morning.
Yeah, because I feel like it's just like get straight to it and it pumps you up and like it's a good combo with the meditation and the coffee. You know, it's like great.
All right. Dang. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those 3 things: music, meditation, and coffee.
What was this? I don't understand. I don't understand that, Justin. I don't know what that means.
That one.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you know. If you know, you know.
No, for sure.
If you don't know, then you don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah. Whatever your vice is, I guess. Some people Some people wake up and like take a shot. Some people wake up.
That's
Wake up and take a shot.
that's not a bad idea.
You know,
That's not
some
a bad
people do
idea.
that.
I've heard of that, but I ain't never met nobody who does that. Take a shot.
I have.
I
I have met a
You
lot of people.
good? Yeah.
Is that surprising?
No,
I don't do
I hear
that,
people
but I
talk
have.
about
Yeah,
it,
it's
like,
a thing. Especially, I don't know why. Like in the Inland Empire, like that's just like so.
I'm not against
It's
it.
very Inland Empire out there. It's like what it is. It is his name. It's like royalty should wake up and have like a goblet of something, right? Like that's
Shotgun.
Yeah.
You could do a shotgun. That'd be great.
Or a flight.
Yeah.
Flight of whiskey.
Flights are popular.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference with a michelada? Like, we're good, right?
Dude,
like,
but if you're drinking enchilada, you about to go back to sleep. You trying to get up.
No. Enchilada, you trying to get it cracking.
Really?
I'm probably the only person in the world that does not drink micheladas.
Like
I don't like
enchiladas.
They're not my favorite thing to do.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
I'm not alone.
definitely not. No, definitely not.
Okay.
All that tomato juice, nah, I'm cool.
Okay.
But
It's like a innocent way to just be like, oh, we're drinking again. You know?
oh, we're drinking again. We're back at it. Like the night before, he was like, Lord, I'm never
A
doing this
michelada
again.
sounds
Yeah.
nicer than
Yeah.
like,
You know,
let's take shots.
tomato juice.
Yeah.
Tomato juice. It's good.
Yeah.
All right. For all the listeners and the viewers out there, like who is Lexx Sequoia? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Lexx Sequoia is kind of, I guess, the alter ego that I created kind of when I was like coming out of high school and, you know, was figuring out a name for what I wanted to do. At first, I started with fashion and then graduated into music. And then I figured like that's the first thing you need, right? Like a superhero first like needs his cape.
No
so like
brain,
that's
right.
like the first thing you need is your name, right? So I was like, I think at the time I happened to be in the middle of the forest or something. I don't know why. I just came up with like Lexx Sequoia, and it was just like, it just to me sounded like something like a name like out of a comic book or something that like would be cool for like females to, you know, just
You're
have
like
someone to be
bars.
like, yeah, I want to be like this person, you know, like. So yeah, that's where that came from.
Dude, I'm so messed up right now because are you Puerto Rican? Are you Hispanic, right?
No, I'm Mexican. Yeah.
What?
I'm full
Really?
Mexican. Yes.
Oh,
Both my
snap.
parents are from
really?
Mexico.
Where?
You are built different.
my dad's side of the family is from like Chihuahua and Querétaro. My mom's side is from like in Mexico too. But from here, also in LA, they, you know, grew up out here and they met each other in LA. And then my mom met my stepfather in LA. My stepdad, you know. I always say I have two dads because
that makes sense.
you know,
though.
my mom's
makes
passed
sense
now,
now.
but I have my two dads, and you know, they're still very much a part of my life. And
tight.
you know, make sure I'm good while still coping with everything, you know, and like moving on with that. Like I mentioned to you, I think. Oh yeah, we'll go.
We'll
get
get
to there.
We'll get there. But like Sequoia though, like, so have you ever been there?
Yeah, that's where I was when I
that's
picked
where
the name.
you can pick the name.
Yeah.
So you've been through the big
Yeah,
red
so that's
tree.
where that came from. Yeah.
Word.
The big tree.
Yeah, you ain't never been there? No, I wouldn't. I mean,
You can, like,
why y'all
drive-
laughing?
you can, like, drive through
okay,
there.
Mr. Laugh Guy. Okay, do you know the name of the
Yeah, you
big
can
tree?
like drive through there.
Yeah, what's the tree? What you know the name of the tree?
You can like drive.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody knows. You go there and you drive through the tree. It's like a
Yeah.
big red tree, bro. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we used to go there like every summer. Like, sure. Okay, like, so when did you like, all right, we'll get to that, but like, dude, like, just to give you your flowers, like,
Thank you.
we talked about that, like, and like the discovery of a new sound or a new thing or whatever, and I was like, man, let me do some research, right? And then you know what I'm saying, and I pressed play, and then I was like, oh snaps, like this is like really good. So like, why music? Like, when did you get involved? Like, how did you know that this is a way that you wanted to express yourself, like using it as your medium?
Right. So, like I said earlier, it kind of like started with fashion, right? So at first I thought I wanted to do that. Like I wanted to do the styling thing. So I first did that before I got into music. And then once I got into music, it was like, okay, I finally figured out like what was for me.
Was it the rehearsals that you had in the shower that you were just
No.
I think I got a talent.
you sounded the echo and shit. You're like, oh shit.
No, at first
Cool.
I guess I first started like from being around music, like so when I was growing up, like my family also like was a part of like a clothing line, right? And they were around like Sway and King
Were they
Tech.
making you sing?
And no, I wasn't singing yet, but I was around a lot of like rappers and a lot of like hip hop moments that were like in the beginning, like fresh starting out. And so I guess it would come from that, like just being around at first.
You were the timid person that had talent, but you're like, nah, you know what? Like, go ahead, do your little karaoke.
No, I was like a little girl. I was like 7, 6. So I wasn't really like, we didn't even know I was gonna, you know, I was still just like modeling for the clothing line that they had. I wasn't.
They had you hustling?
Yeah, I was like doing
8?
that kind. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. Did you go to school?
Did you go to school?
Yeah, I was at school. Yeah, I was at school. Yeah. No, but yeah.
They say like, you know what, you are beautiful. Let's get you going. Like,
oh yeah, it wasn't just me. It was like my cousins, my aunties,
they knew it.
my brothers, like all the whole family. Like how you're family oriented and you are, and everyone was like family. Like that's how
this
it was.
Is how
back
you're
then
going
too.
right there.
Yeah, it was just like, let's use what we got. We got kids clothes to sell. We gotta get our kids to model.
You were wearing little overalls, Oshkosh,
yeah, like
you know?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the little overalls, like that's dope. That's really dope.
All right, but like no, all right. So we talked about like I mentioned, like, you know, the discovery of the new sound or the new artist, right? And I listened to your album Evolution, like the XX. Am I supposed to like? Bro, you messing it up. Am I supposed to say Evolution XXX?
Yeah, no. No. Well, I knew that people would always like think or associate with that because I've always gotten that my whole life because my name actually has 2 X's in it. So it's always been the thing, like a little joke that people say. So I'm used to it. But it was more just for like the album name. So you said it right. Yeah, Evolution XX. Yeah.
Where were you like, where did you create that jam? Like I mean I've known you know a little bit about like, you know, your past and stuff like that, but like at that particular moment, you know what I'm saying, that's a lot of tracks and they're all different. They all have like a pretty much a different sound. So like where were you? Where were you? Like just break that down for me.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. No, I was actually at the studio. I was actually so after I finished like with chemotherapy and stuff like that, then I started getting back into the studio to make fresh new music, like this new sound for this new Lexx Sequoia. Like that's why the album cover is like robotic, like futuristic, because it was like this thing, like this new coming out after taking a big break because I hadn't done music in a while. Once I did initially start music, you know, after everything was going, and then the cancer stuff happened, took a break. So then this was like coming back. So I had to come like big, right? So I reached out to, I think like one of my good friends in my hometown, Dre B, and he had a studio in Riverside with my friend Jay Hart. And they, you know, were the first ones to let me come back and like start working on music. So a lot of it was like starting there. And then that's where I met Stevie Crooks, and Stevie Crooks came with like a whole nother sound for me. And so a lot of the album is him, Rich Nice, Jay Harp, like all of us just giving it all we have, you know? So thank you that you love it so much because we really took our time on it, and I'm really proud of it. And I feel like it's such a timeless piece, and that I've never worked on something like that. Like, I don't know, like I know you heard that album, but I don't know if you like listen to the other stuff that I have out. It's such a different sound, and you'll see that it's older. You'll see that like I've been doing this, so this is like the evolution literally of my sound.
Yeah, no, I definitely think like I definitely hear the maturity.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying, in your music.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, she just woke up and she was addicted. You know what I'm saying? Like there was definitely like like intentional thought and purpose like behind it, and I was just like, holy, like I get mad when I hear something like this dope and I don't know, like why don't I not like like, you know what I'm saying? Because when it's like that, like I was telling you guys earlier before we started recording, like dope stuff, like Rhapsody and stuff like that. Like I share with my daughter. I'm like, yo, like, hey, I need to put you on game.
Yeah.
You know, but some of the things I'm be like, baby girl, like earmuffs. You know what I'm saying? Your content over there, like earmuffs. But nah, but like it's still like when I see somebody do something amazing, or like when we see somebody doing something amazing, it's always like, hey, we wake up the same, we put on clothes the same, we go to the bathroom the same. So if you can do it, I can do it. So it's like, yo, hey, baby girl, like, hey, if you interested, you know what I'm saying, you can do something like this. But like, nah, like kudos, like that's just tight.
Hey, like with that being said, like how do you is there any plans as far as like hitting like the whole Mexican market? Like, cause like, I mean, you should have never said the Querétaro. Like, she brought it down to the roots. You know what I mean? So I just think that's kind of the thing that, like, believe it or not, like the Spanish market is like, is game because
yeah.
like Mexico is either you're poor or you're rich, like that, and it's not no Beverly Hills Rodeo Drive rich.
It's like
rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, where do you see yourself in that market? Like,
Yeah.
have you thought about that?
I totally agree with you, and I feel like some of the songs on the album, like the first song, Fuego, is just like, you know, or the Spanish is different for me because I don't speak it fluently as my first language. You know, it's English, but
you
I
get
do
mad?
like throw it out there in the music a little bit, you know.
You no sabes que?
See, see, you know.
Till she gets mad, bro. Till she gets mad.
Yeah, so I do have some Spanish in my music. If I don't know if you've heard the album, but take a listen and I have some little Spanish in there for you.
We gotta throw you in with some
I got
peso
some-
pluma
yeah,
and
I
shit.
got some-
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Get that Carol
Yeah.
G going. Because
Yeah.
honestly, like Carol G was like, she was cool, and then she put peso pluma on it, or like Fuerza Regida and shit like that. Like it's just connecting with the culture. Really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially because like that's not very common. You know what I mean? Like I think for a Hispanic woman to break into the music culture over here, like not just like the American, I'm talking about the Mexican part, is like it's huge, because if they got you, it's like, think about Selena,
Oh yeah.
all-time greatest. She's like the Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she's like the Michael Jordan, real talk.
No, that's so true.
Yeah.
So like J-Lo wouldn't be J-Lo if it wasn't for Selena. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And J-Lo's pretty dope. Like, she's cool.
Maybe you'll play him one of the Spanish ones later.
Yeah, no, I
when
definitely will.
So he can hear it.
But you know, I didn't want to be like, oh, bro, you brown nose, because I was gonna play it, because I was like, I even told him, I texted him and I was like, bro, you like normally, like, it's not just you, but like normally, like we're very like, we're into music, so I'll be like, hey, bro, I think you should check this out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'll send him, but I didn't send him your stuff, and then I was, when you walked in, I was like, oh man, I should put this on right now. And you were like, bro, this dude's so lame, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then some people don't like hearing themselves or watching themselves, like, so like, even with us, like once I edit, with like what we do, like I never watch it.
You just
just
put it to the world.
put it out
I
there,
never watch
and
myself, that's
never, like,
Really?
So yeah, so I'm like, I get it, because it's
Yeah.
just like, I'm like super critical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just rather like,
You rather
hey,
just
I did my best, and whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope it looks good, huh?
Yeah, hope so. Heart of a Champion, dope.
Yes. Thank you.
Light show, like super cracking.
Thank
You know what
you.
I'm saying? What was your creative process behind that? I mean, like, was you like, I don't like to like link creativity to like medicinal, like marijuana, whatever it is, but like, where were you? Like, I'm just like, ain't no way she like, oh man, like for real, like, and it was like, it seemed like so effortless, you know what I'm saying? So like, what was your creative process behind like those tracks?
Yes. It was definitely some of that, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
A little bit of just wanting to make something that I could play, because that was like to me my battle song. Like, if the beat is so hard and so like, you know, like, it's just, I don't know why, it just always reminded me of like something big and like battle vibes. So I even speak about it in the verse, and that was like about, you know, the battling cancer stuff. So that was like something that I wanted to voice in the song, to where other people can relate to that maybe you are going through that, or have someone going through that, or went through that. So the beginning of the video is actually like all the women in my family, like standing, we're all right there, minus my mom, because my mom passed, but all of us that are still here, like, it's a really powerful shot for me. And it's like, I love that that's in the video. The J Hart record, the light show, was also like, you know, I mentioned my mom in there. So I really wanted to, all these songs that we put on the album, I wanted to incorporate her and her legacy, because that has such a big part on like me and what I do to this day as well, you know?
We're like big on that too, like knowing your history, like having an identity. And
Yeah.
I think you learn that by knowing who your mama's mama
Right.
was. You know what I'm saying? Is that
Right.
big? Is that important to you?
Yeah, because if not, then you're just kind of like going off of who you're around or what you see, you know, and you're building your character off of that instead of like off of what it should be, which is your family's like legacy and what, you know, they leave behind for you and what you leave behind for after you. So I think it is for me because it's especially growing up in a small town, you know?
Man, I'm just amazed. I'm sorry. I'm like fanning out right now. No, but that I think we'll get into that. But like where would you like your music to take you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the ultimate goal?
As big as it can get, and like wherever we can go. I really have like a lot of music that I think that can touch a lot of different stages. And what, like, by that saying, like, I could go on this stage, I could perform this on this stage, and a lot of music these days, you can't do that. You have to only play at this certain festival or this certain, you know, party or this certain club or things like that. And I want to be everywhere, to the point where, like, you see how quick everything is, like, so viral and so fast these days, especially for females. And I wanted to come with music that was like that, but like a notch further than that, to where it could be played everywhere for a long time, forever.
So then what you do is on purpose. That's why you switch up the sound so much. Right?
Yeah.
So you can go into any space, any arena.
Yeah. Because I have fun making music like that. I can make songs like that, you know, we could do at Rolling Loud when, you know, I would have been there. But I kind of just wanted to be strategic with everything and kind of be behind the scenes for a while and like take the time to get my health right and create really who Lexx Sequoia is gonna come out as, like, you know. So because I really wanted to be a whole thing, you know, a whole like aesthetic, a whole movement of like, instead of just like a quick come up, or you know how they like to say like a TikTok star, or you know, like the easy bag. Like, I'd rather wait a little bit and, like, you know.
Oh, I get it. I mean,
come with a bigger bag.
She's on the, like, Rachel McAdams things. You know what I mean? Like,
she's on the Notebook?
No, I'm just saying. Like, you know what I mean? She's consistent. You know what I mean? That's what it is, right? Like,
yeah.
She's like creating her brand, and I think that's dope. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's kind of one of those things where you have to choose whether you're gonna be what people expect you to be, and then what you really want to be. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she just said it. Like, she's gonna be who she's gonna be.
But like, honestly speaking, right? Like, so we can drum it down to a niche, right? So like when we first started podcasting, everybody with all these like studios and stuff like
industry.
That. We kind of did. No, because they were just like,
no,
they were like,
you.
so what are you guys? Like, what are you guys? And we're like, dude, we're like culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, just society and culture. Like, that's it.
Netflix about
like,
that shit.
Yeah, and we were like, anything a grown man or woman are going through, like, yo, that's what we're talking about. So it was like, so you're not tech? Like, no, we're not tech. You're not movies? No, we're not film. Like, you're not music? Like, nah, we talk about everything that, like, bothers us. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, if it bothers me, like, let's get it. But, like, what you being, because all right, I'll relate that to something that we had talked about, right? So you was like, yo, I was listening to my stuff on a certain like streaming platform, and I can tell that they still can't figure out my placement. You know what I'm saying? So does that help you, or does that hurt you, or do you be like, man, I should have just stuck to like a bitty bitty bum bum? You know what I'm saying? Like, should I have done it?
I think naturally, like, any artist would be like, look at it as like a bad thing. But me, I look at it as a good thing, because it's like, okay, it's that one that sounds out that you're gonna remember, as opposed to like everything else that sounds the same and that you hear every day. It's the one that you hear like once every other day, or like one, you know, that you're like, what is that? And then you Shazam it, or you know, tell your friend, you look it up or whatever, you know, like you'll find a way to. I was even like worried about, like, not worried, but like the name Sequoia, like, it's, you know, some people don't like know how to spell, so it's gonna be like, you know. And I'm like, no, F that. Like, if you really want to find somebody and listen to music and a new artist, like, you'll look it up, you'll Google it, and like, I'm right there. So you know, I really had to stop looking at that, you know, and
what if that was
that.
the Lord, like straight up, like you know, I think that was just your destiny. That was like what was written.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like sequoia, it could be a tree, it could be whatever. You know what I mean?
I'm just
it could be the big tree you drive through.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I just think like the whole thing of it, like, I think is think about it, like, you're popping, but you don't know what to call it. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's
dope.
cool.
That's
I think
dope.
that's cool that they're
That's
even giving me
dope.
a shot to like put myself out there with the other stuff, you know, knowing that like this sounds different than this, but
we don't know
you know,
what we're gonna call
like,
it, like that one.
Yeah, like they're taking a shot on me, so I'm actually like super grateful for it, and I started to look at it from that perspective than like the other way, because that's how movements start, is like with one, right, and like then you can create a domino effect from there. So I'll be the first one if I have to you know, start getting more music, different kind of sounds for females out there, you know, and kind of like take creative control over things
and it's
a little
all
bit.
a trend, really. It's really all a trend, especially like, honestly, if you can capture it like at the peak of it and just run with it, because at the end of the day, like, for example, like, especially in the Hispanic culture, right, you have, like, back in the day, you had the Duranguense, right? Mm-hmm. Then you had like now you have like the what is it called, like tumbado or whatever. Like, you have different like created general, like whatever freaking created freaking like types of music. So if you could run with that and then like basically keep it, that's where it's at. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about like reaching some sort of type of success, is actually keeping it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, that's where it's at. Like, shit, like that's very easy said than done, especially like shit, like, you have a lot to compete with, you know what I mean? Like, and like, how do you put yourself different? It's just your drive, really. Really think about it.
But like, does it get frustrating for you though? Like, cause I know it's like hip hop, music in general, or life. Life is very competitive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a competitive sport, and like, we have an artist that we work with as well, and like any like thing that like stands out to me, I can only speak for myself. You like start comparing it to like what is mainstream, and then you be like, dog, this is like murdering that. Like, so is it frustrating for you? Like, do you just be like, yo, not like that, just hypothetically speaking, right? You're like, damn, that Doja track, you know, Doja Cat, that just garbage compared to what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't ever like feel like that?
No, I don't really ever feel like that, because I feel like everybody's entitled to make whatever music that they want to make and be, and they're able to take it there. Great, you know. If anything, if anything, that's, you know, inspiration for me. And so I've never really looked at it like that. Like, I'm not really like, you know, hater or starting drama or like no beef like that. Like, I'm really just trying to.
Oh, no, I'm not trying to push that.
Be my own, you know. Like, I don't. I don't.
Like, whack. Like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't
but
ever
I'm just
feel
saying,
like frustrated about
though.
it, because I'm confident in what I'm making and my sound and like where I come from and who is with me and my team, and like, you know.
When it comes to like, are you on the production side? Like, so or is everybody like sending you beats and stuff like that? And you be like, all right, I can work with that. Or do you be like, yo, this is like, you be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I want.
No, I'm not really on the production side. I really like to just stay on the other side of the music, on the word side of things, on the lyrics. But I do, like, you know, I accept beats from people. Everybody has, like, I think like when they have something for me, they're like, oh, this is like will sound good for you, you know? Because they know what kind of like things I like or what I might sound good on, or even if I don't, it's good to just like try it and see, you know.
She on her Ariana Grande type of shit, you know what I mean? Like,
she don't even write her own stuff, bro.
I mean that's how it looks like. She's like, okay, I'll take that one. Yes. No, not that one.
That's what Money Long was behind a lot of that stuff, bro. Like, yeah. Anyways, we ain't even gotta go there. What's your opinion on, like, you know, on collaboration, right? Because of course, like, you know, when it comes to like rap and stuff like that, you're supposed to be like the first person. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're speaking about, something that you actually experience. but when it comes to expressing it in an art form, I always said this, right? So your first album, you know what I'm saying, that's amazing. Your second album, you just like, oh, I don't know. And then your third album, you just like, oh, you made a little money, so now you're talking about your experiences. But after that, I think you run out of things to say. Right, so if you're on your fourth and your fifth album, I've always said like, yo, who in a room with you because you didn't run out of ideas, right? So what's your opinion on that though? Is it cool or is it biased when it comes to like R&B, pop, and hip hop?
No, I think it is. I think I can see how it comes across biased. Like, you know, this certain genre can do it, but this can't. But I also think that like that's the sport of hip hop. You know, like that's what, from the beginning of time, that's what it's been about, is like your lyricism, your professional ability to make a rap, like a good, you know, even if it's freestyle. That's why like most of the time these days, like the freestyle isn't really a freestyle. So that's why like people are saying it's like the cheat way, or it's like, you know, that like it's not so credible as something that is like 100% someone's creativity. You know, but that's also what makes you stand out, and you recognize it. You know, an artist that does that or an artist that does this. So it's really about which side you want to be on and what side you can make the most money on. What
if you find out later? What if you're like, oh man, this dude is like the greatest composer, or girl, woman, female, whatever, man, and then you find out like, oh, he didn't do none of that, or she didn't do none of that.
Yeah.
Like, how does that make you feel?
I think for as artists, it might make us frustrated because, you know, it's like a spoiled kid. Like you might be like, oh, they had it easy, you know. But I think that's what it would be like.
Okay, all right. I discovered you initially from a radio show on satellite XM radio that I listen to on a daily basis, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you was telling the story of like how I believe 26, correct me if I'm wrong, you were diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? How did you process that, like, initially? Because, you know, we always think about like sickness, disease as something that elderly would experience. Like, dude, you in like in your peak, like you're 26. So
Yeah.
what was that feeling for you? What was that experience?
I think initially it was like that, like, you know, scared as like any normal person would be, you know, when you get that news. And then it kind of just turned like automatic, like into fight mode, like, you know, like, okay, well, gotta keep going.
How long did it take you to get to that spot? You know what I'm saying? Did you take like, did you like just seclude yourself from everyone for like about 2 weeks and like, yo, like what I gotta do? I'm gonna beat this. Can I beat this? Like, what was that duration of time?
I would say it was like right away. Like I didn't really ever sit around and like mope about it or like, you know, let the scared part take over, because I've always been a believer in like whatever you feed, that's what, you know. So I didn't want to feed my fear. I wanted to feed my faith. So I hung around, you know, people that I knew loved me, 100% my family, immediate family. That's all really who knew. I really didn't post about it. I really didn't tell any friends. Like nobody really even knew about it. I kind of just went into like a little, you know, shell, and so I can heal myself, you know. And when I did come out with the news, it was already after I had beat it, and so I just wanted to protect my energy over it for the most part. So that's really why like I kept it to myself. But it happened really fast. Like I as soon as it happened, I was like, I gotta keep going.
And was that your strategy for like beating it? Because you did, right? So like,
yes.
Yo, like the less amount of people that know this information, like I'm keeping it in my circle of trust, and anybody outside of that don't really matter.
Right.
So that was your strategy to do
Yeah,
it?
because I also felt like outside energy can like, it's still energy and it can still affect things. So if I wanted to, you know, heal, you have to be around peace and like calm and faith. And like the more you spread fear, the more people, you know, like you throw that C word around and everyone's like, you know, like super scared and crying and all kinds of stuff. So I kind of just wanted to do it my own way.
So like let me throw in some deep stuff since this is the mode that we're going in right now. Obviously, like, I mean, I haven't had a scare like that, but like obviously I do have a kidney transplant, right? So like, you know, at some point somehow I was supposed to live and then die and then somehow like live again. I was fortunate enough to have like my sister that actually donated her kidney, gave it to me, whoop-de-whoop, all this thing, right?
Wow.
But the biggest thing here, and shout out to my sister on that, good looking.
Yeah.
But
shout out sis.
The having that conversation, that first initial conversation, because I know that initial conversation to me, it broke me down, and I wasn't even on that level. But like, what did you feel in that conversation as far as like you knowing what you're dealing with?
To my family?
No, to yourself.
To myself?
To yourself, like.
Yeah, I remember like vividly like just writing a note in my notepad on my phone that I would like, I think I set it as like my screensaver, and it was just like a bunch of affirmations of like good things. So anytime I was always like looking at my phone, I was like looking at that. So I was like I always also tried to control like what I was watching, what I was eating, what I was listening to, what I was around, so I can control myself and that conversation could be clear to me, you know? So I could control me.
So in general, like, because I was in that same whole little mode, like denial. Real talk. Like, you think that you're gonna be like, no, you're gonna live, blah blah blah. But this is not. I'm too young to be in this situation and all that. But I just think that in general, like, it messes with you. It really does mess with you because it just creates that uncertainty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That like. It puts you into accountability of like, what am I really here for?
Right.
If I'm this young and I'm going through this, what's the whole point of it?
Right. Well, that's why they call it a battle, right? Because it's literally a battle with yourself, with your mind, with your body. Like, okay, they're telling me this thing, but I feel this way, or, you know, like, and fighting like what you believe in and who you believe in and what you believe in as a, you know, spiritual person. So
you didn't start like popping off at the mouth though, you know what I'm saying? Because you be like, yo, I'm about to be out of here in about a couple of weeks, so it's a couple of things I want to get off my chest.
If anything, I just use it as like a reset for myself. Like, okay, it was more just like of a message from my mom and from God to like sit down.
You were nice about it. I was a dick about it.
It was more like because I felt if I was that way, that it would add an energy to it that I didn't want. So I had to just like immediately acknowledge like mentally how I wanted to navigate thines.
You were born to be an assassin.
And it was just like, yeah.
You were like heartless.
Yeah,
like, done.
And honestly, it was also 6 months after my mom had passed. So it was like, I had already been in this mode of like, what is this matrix shit we're in? Oh, I'm sorry if we can't cuss. No, but, you know, and I was like, okay, so I was already in that mode. And so when that happened, it was just more like, you know, when you like laugh, you're like, but you keep going and you have to, because if not, then you lose, right? And I've never been fond on losing. My mom wasn't a loser. My dads are not losers. Everybody that's ever been around me is not losing. Everyone is doing something, is helping somebody, something, somewhere, you know, has done something. And so I couldn't just like give up and do nothing.
See, and that's the thing, like losing a mom, that throws a whole different level. Dad, you can live through it. Mom is just like,
He said, "Dad, you can live through it." He's like,
"That's what I say." Like, I was gonna come in. I was gonna come save him. In your opinion, because it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of people out there who are like,
"You're so funny."
I'm just saying, like,
in your experience, that's how you say it.
Yeah,
in my experience.
This is what this is for. It's a conversation.
In my experience, I saw my dad die. Like, he died. Like, he even died like mariachi in him and shit. Like, he had a proficient, like, amazing death. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool. He died the way he wanted to be. He wanted to be a dick. He died as a dick. That's commemorable. And I'm not throwing even shade at him, because at the end of the day, he carried our family, right? Our family stands for what it stands because of him, right? My mom was the administrator, like, you know what I mean? She was like the back office processor. It is what it is. But like, when you lose a mom, I think that's the part where it kind of desensitizes you from like everything. You know
No,
what I
that's
mean?
a great word. That's probably the word that I've been looking for this whole time. Is that
Desensitized.
it's like, because you don't know really what it is. It's called, because you label it as like, I don't give a fuck anymore. But like, that's a great like classy word for it. Is like, I just
Don't say I don't give a-
because
I
you just
answer.
realize that there's actually a lot more to this life than like what we
Yeah.
think.
But like, were you
know?
upset though? Like, you
No.
get what I'm saying? No.
No, I wasn't upset. I wasn't
because
upset
like you didn't
because
have your mom.
I wasn't upset
I'm going through
because I started becoming conscious of that, like we are what we attract, right? So I was understanding that like this person that I was and this life that I was living is not really what was meant for me, and I needed to be recalled back home. And so I literally took a flight the next day. I was like, okay, after I got the music, took a flight back home, like back to, what do you do when something like that happens? You go back to the drawing board, right? Back to square one, back to home, where it's sanctuary, where you know it's like the one place where everything was good at one point. So then you kind of like, okay, well then nothing can go wrong if I'm in my safe space, right? So it was more like that. It was like happy to finally have something to know, like, okay, this is my out to really like go hard on what I was doing, because I wasn't working on my music at the time. I wasn't following my destiny at all, and I really felt like my spirit guides and my mom and God was seeing that, and they're like, okay, let's give this girl, let's
get
shake
you
it
back
up a
on
bit.
track.
So I
Really?
had to see it that way,
I call it
because
humble cookie.
you know,
Like, what?
yeah, when you get
Like,
snatched up from
yeah.
on the street with your
Yeah.
friends, and it was that for me. It was like, all right, like, so I didn't really let it scare me, because I looked at, like you said, I looked at death a different way now. And once you look at that a certain way, you look at life a certain way. And so now you can just have fun with life, and you can give it all you got in a real way now, differently. Because like I said before, you know, like, oh, we get second chances, like we're cats and we get 9 lives, right? But like when something like that happens, you realize like this is really,
That's it.
you know, when you're playing a game, like those like Call of Duty games or something, you're like, oh, okay, I'm waiting to respawn. Like, you don't, like, that's not what
Like,
this
let me
is,
reset
you know,
this
like
real
this is
quick.
really one thing. And like who you are as a person really matters, and it matters to your body, it matters to your surroundings and all that. It matters to your energy that you're creating towards you in your, you know, financially or whatever. Like everything is actually really like
All connected.
all connected. And a lot of people like may look at you crazy for believing that, but like they say, they laugh at everything until it's like, you know, it's crazy until it works, right?
Honestly, it scares me. It scares me because
And then you're like, dang, how do I do that? How do I
Yeah.
tap into that? And then now you know, so
see, like I was at first, I was like, you feel committed, especially like when somebody gives you an organ, right? When somebody gives you an organ, and I honestly, this is the first time that I talk about this, right? Like as far as like the feeling of somebody giving you an organ, right? But like I feel like you feel compromised, but at the same time you're like, let me not put that pressure on myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and then it's just gonna happen whether I do it or I don't do it, right? But I think that's kind of one of the things where, like, at first, to me, I felt like, okay, dealing with like being close to death made me feel like, all right, I'm down. Like, fuck it, whatever. I had fun, whatever, all this bullshit. And then you get the second chance and you're like, fuck, now I have to care, right? And then you care, right? You care for this, for the simple fact, right? And then you're in this transition where I'm like, I'm gonna make it last. And then you get hit with like, you just lost your mom, right? So you just get like, let me get a hit in the kidneys, right? And when your mom is gone, I think it dies something part of you. So it's so hard for you to care, because at the end of the day, it's like that's what actually kept you going, even when they say the stupidest shit. Because I remember I never wanted to tell my mom anything like negative, because I already know what she was gonna say. She was gonna say like, pray to God. Like, I'm like, yo, God wasn't even listening. Do you think I didn't try that before like talking to you? But like, to me, I was just like, oh, like seeing her being okay was like giving me life. You get that out of the equation, and then you're like, you're already dealing with all this shit. You already have the odds against you, and you're just like, fuck it, you know? And just reeling yourself up back to, okay, let me give it a shot. That shit's easier said than done. Straight up.
It is.
Like,
it is.
Like, my dad died of cancer, and they told him, if you stay in the treatment, you're gonna live. He decided not to because of like his macho, like, nah, I'm not gonna be nobody's guinea pig. I was like, shit, say less. I'll be down. You know what I mean? But like, no, he wasn't. And that's kind of the things that you live on those certain terms, which they're powerful. They're very powerful, and people wouldn't understand it because some people call it selfish. Other people call it like, okay, do what you want. And then other people call it like, yeah, you probably need some like, you need to talk to a therapist. You know?
No, yeah. It's a lot of traumatizing thing at once, and then you still have the world continuing on around you, so you feel even like more crazier, you know, and like you can turn all that into anger, and then that compromises like your faith, right? And like in God, like what you're saying. And that's kind of, I guess, like that's natural to have, you know, when you lose somebody and you're like, you know, why, you know, why God, or even question that there is a God. But I kind of tried to flip that perspective into being like, okay, there is this higher power, it's God, and my mom is now there and with him, then she's the most powerful she's ever been, right? And if she's the most powerful that she's ever been, and I'm one of her most prized possessions, and she loves me and my brothers, all of them, you know, all my 5 brothers, what am I scared of or sad about? Because I know she would never leave my side, so I know she's still here, you know? Just like your mom. Just like your mom.
Oh,
your mom's with you, you know? That's real.
You know what I mean?
It's
I
real.
really doubt it, because I was like, I think about that shit. I'm like, Mom, I'm like, damn, why am I not rich? You
but she's not a genie, bro.
No,
like, dude, this dude like annoys me with that, bro. Like, damn, like she's not a genie.
Like, if I was dead and I
see
you guys rolling around, I'd be like, damn, like, hold on, like.
Just go down.
You just gotta.
You're the power number.
I guess you gotta change your mentality on it, and then once you're in agreement with it, then it flows, then it comes, and then it's like, here's the numbers, and they just fall in your lap. No, it's real. It's real.
She's
it's like
not
magic.
Shaq, bro. She's not Shazam.
It's serious.
Like,
I've seen some crazy stuff happen. Like, it's real.
No,
and it happened
La
for
Rosa de
you.
Guadalupe, is that what you're talking about?
What's a bop him on the head? Anyways, okay, so yes, a lot of family is missing. A lot of friends have passed. A lot of family has passed. We've all lost loved ones, but you know, it's about what we do from here on out for our legacy, because we're still here and we still have to continue it, and there's no excuses for that. So we gotta just do what we gotta do, and you know.
Okay, so I know you're big, and you probably already answered this in his last little iteration right there. But like, you're big on like you know, faith over fear, right? So if you believe in a higher power, it doesn't matter, like it doesn't have to be a specific domination or a way to practice. But if you believe into a higher power, and you're calling out to him, like he said, you know what I'm saying? He called out to him and his mama. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't feel like things are changing. I know during that experience, you probably called out, you know what I'm saying? And was it frustrating to you, and how did you get over that?
Yeah, it was frustrating for me, and I did call out, and that's what this is about. I love this conversation because this is what, you know, I live for now. Like, I love to, you know, talk about it and go through just like the conversations with people that are going through or have gone through the same thing with me, because when you have both of your parents, you don't know how it feels. You know, like the people that are missing 1 or 2 parents, like they're literally like gems. Like, you understand a certain thing, it's different. And that might sound crazy, that might sound, you know, selfish, whatever you want to say. But it is a certain, like, we just, you know, So I started to look at it as like that. Like that's what I'm doing this for, is like to spread the light in all this like darkness that's going on.
So, all right. That's what I'm talking about. Who or what motivates you to do better?
I would say lately it's been myself. I've been my biggest motivator, all that stuff, because I guess before that it was my mom, right? Or like, my family, but I'm learning to just like be me and be the best of me that I can be, especially in the artist world for Lexx Sequoia. Not even just like me, who I am on my own time, but like in this artist stuff, like,
Now think back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, think back. Hypothetical. All right. Favorite moment, favorite experience that you had. Would you want to relive that moment for eternity, or just continue where you are now, knowing that things could get worse, things could get better?
I would say now.
Live in the now.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Because I've already been where I've been, and I'm here for the now.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah.
You got anything coming up? Any shows? What we doing?
I'm working on some stuff for this summer, or definitely before the end of the year, if not in the summertime. But I'll definitely keep you posted on that.
How do you title your tracks? How do you title your albums? What goes into
I usually just think of like whatever I said in the hook, or a word that I said that was different through the verse. And like, I usually like to just have fun with it.
You got phenomenal weed.
Yeah. I like to think so. I like to think so. It's not like
rhymes are perfect. Like they're on fucking
yeah,
clutch.
no, I like to think so.
I think Option
Yeah.
Forward is a good album name.
Like
Option Forward, that rings a bell. Like,
You
Yeah.
just throw it out there. Just
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
But ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to like the conclusion of our show. As we always do, I open up the table of discussion and our microphones to our guests and to the co-hosts, because we are, traditional men. We're gonna open up the microphone to Lexx, right, to leave any parting words, whatever you want to say. Make sure you leave your socials out there, anything you got coming up.
Oh yeah. Thank you guys for having me today and bringing me into your space. And now we're family and everything like that.
Damn, now
Yeah.
I'm about to call you. Like,
Yeah, I'm
hey,
excited.
Man,
I'll come back
I got
whenever.
a flat tire. Don't help me. Let me change this.
No, yeah. I'm so grateful, and thank you for kind of just being a good time and inviting us into your space. And you can find me on Lexx Sequoia on like Apple Music, all streaming platforms. We're really coming out with some good stuff soon, so I'll keep you posted on
How
it.
soon? What we talking about? What are we talking about?
Very soon.
I mean, I'm just saying, like a couple weeks, a couple months.
No, yeah. So I've been, so I have my own, I'm my own solo artist, and then with Rich Nice, we have the Gas Company, which is me, my friend Jay Harp that I mentioned earlier on the Light Show song, and Stevie
He's on
Crooks.
a couple tracks.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he also produced some of the tracks, and him. So he's on it, and Stevie Crooks is
Who's
on it.
him? Say who's
Jay
him?
Hart.
Who is him? No, the other him.
The guy behind.
The guy.
Oh,
yeah.
so I said Stevie Crooks.
Okay.
No, yeah.
All right.
So
Just give me some
yeah, so
props
we've
now.
been working on music together also, and my friend Jay Harp, and we have some good stuff coming. And I have a lot of videos coming too that won't be dropping. So
Nice. Or do you not like that, because I know we're trying to end it, but like, do you come up with the concept for your videos, or you just like, or is there like a creative room where y'all like, hey, listen to the song and what y'all think?
yeah, right now I kind of been letting, I guess, like my creative team deal with all that, because I just kind of have been getting back into the flow of like the recording side of things. But I think like this next project that I put out, whichever project will be after Evolution XX, I'll have more, I'm gonna be more into it as far as that.
So,
Yeah.
GQ Nesto.
Shit, all I gotta say is, I'm excited to see like what's coming. She's like Becky G 2.0. She's coming in. She's coming in hard. Representing the culture. That's what it is. And
Thank you.
Do your thing. Do your
Yes.
thing, girl.
Thank you.
Do your thing, girl.
Yes.
Do your thing, girl.
Thank you.
Do your thing, girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all I gotta say. Thank you for being on our platform, and I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. Once again, it's all about being authentic, and that's really what it is, right?
Yes.
Oh, most def. Man, thank you for this opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Of course,
Like,
anytime.
I'm very appreciative of people because, time is valuable, right? It's the most valuable commodity that you have. So you spent your time here with us, and you can't get that back. So I hope that it was, valuable to you.
So, yes.
As it was to us. But I would say, hey, like, she did it. You can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all faced with challenges. We don't always have all the answers. Sometimes we get upset with the higher power, the way things work, but we gotta represent because we're still here. So if you're still here, represent. I'm your boy Drew. We are Option for a Podcast. We see you guys next time.